Good morning. Today's project I'm going to work on carving a horse. I've done a couple carvings before and a couple of a horse, one of an elephant, and they came out relatively good, so I'm going to give this a shot. Now this one's going to be a bit bigger than I've done before. This is a horse. Well, if you look past all the parts that doesn't look like a horse, this is the block of wood I'm going to use to make a horse. It's pretty decent sized. And what I think I'm going to do is first I'm going to mill it down to be block. I'm not going to need the whole length. And then I'm going to decide if I'm going to double thickness it or if I'm going to work with what I end up with. You know, I am, just like everybody else, I'm filled with self-doubt and questioning my own abilities. I'm working on this carved horse, and I'm using a wood that we harvested from my mother's yard several years ago, and I don't know if the wood had worms in it at the time or if it developed worms while I was seasoning it, but it sure's had worms now. I have two pieces glued together here, and it had wormholes like you will not believe. So I'm hoping I got all the worms out. I guess what I could do is throw this in a oven at 350 for a couple hours, see if that'll kill whatever's left. But right now I'm gluing two pieces together to make it thick enough to become a horse. So let's progress. I don't know if this is going to become a detraction from the carving or a additional feature. It might actually be an additional feature that is kind of nice. We'll see. But for today, I'm done. So I think I'm going to try something here. This is purely going to be an experiment. It's very possible that there's no worms left in this wood. It's very possible that this wood is now completely worm free. And if that's the case, it'd be a shame to throw it away. It's kind of pretty. It'll be very interesting as a horse. Of course. But what we're going to try here is I have a wood shop microwave. And this board should fit in here, just doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down just a little bit shorter so it'll fit in there. And then I'm going to nuke this thing for at least 5 minutes, probably 10 or 15. We'll see how that works out. Alright, so my microwave's 13 inches. That fits in there just nicely. And I'm going to do it and I'm going to microwave this in like 2 to 3 minute stints. And we'll see how that works. I'm just going to set you right here. You can see my refrigerator and my microwave. I still think the level of worms in this wood might be a problem, but we're going to give it a shot. I went ahead and drew out a close facsimile of a horse, of course. And I switched out my blade. This is a wood turner's blade for my bandsaw. It's the closest thing I've got to a scroll saw blade, but it's going to get the job done. And now we start taking the bits and pieces that don't look like a horse off. So that's what we're doing now. I'm a little frustrated right now. I didn't hit record, and I had a really good discussion of what I was going to do next. I doubt I'll be able to replicate it perfectly. I got the profile cut out, and now I'm going to go ahead and shrink the tail and shrink the head appropriately. The head will be relatively easy to do because I can attack it like this, and now but with the ears here, I'm going to still be attacking it with air. So I got to come in really slow and close, slowly. That way it doesn't yank down. And I just barely touch it and then just keep barely touching it and then cut it out. Problem is with the tail, I can't figure out the best way to do it. The best way I came up with this way. And once again, it's going to be up in the air. So I got to just come in super slow and do that. Now, one of the concerns I have is where the legs are. There's a lot of wormholes where the legs need to be, and we got some even where the wood broke off with this effort so far, and I'm a little concerned on how the legs are going to come out. I might have to come in from behind and take another piece and just glue it in for legs, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. We will proceed, and cross your fingers, and so will I. So I have rough cut it out. I did not feel comfortable cutting the tail any further on the bandsaw because I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. So I have it roughly cut out. It looks pretty good in my opinion. We still have some pretty decent wormholes, but some of those will disappear and some of them will become features.
Put your toys down, come in, clean up, and get ready for dinner.
Well, I guess it's time to quit woodworking for today, and we will continue this project tomorrow. From here, it looks like it's a wonderful horse. It actually looks pretty good from this angle, but when we get closer, it's kind of square. But I'm liking it so far. And I'm basically going to round things out. Now, the back legs are a little wider, supposed to be a little wider on a horse than the front. I'm going to round the face out. And he's going to loop in a little bit, and the legs aren't going to be directly underneath, I guess. But we'll see how it works out. I will be using a Dremel, and I have this Dremel wand, and I'm going to be using this carving blade on here, and it's gold, so you know it's good. I'm liking how it's coming out so far. It looks more like a horse than it did a little while ago. I still got to figure out the legs, what I'm going to do with the legs. the front legs are going to be where the worst is, because there's so many wormholes. But it could potentially be a equine de Milo, and so we got a couple broken legs off. That's not a big deal, really. If that happens, that happens. So I'm gonna take a break for today. I'm gonna continue tomorrow, and we'll see how it continues. Like I say, I'm even not minding all these wormholes, because it kind of makes it look like it's an antique. I think I might have carved away a little bit too much for the head area. So it looks like he's got a little tiny head with a big body, but it's very possible a lot of this largesse of the body is going to go away as I carve out the shape on the belly area. The next step is to go ahead and make the legs thinner. I'm really kind of liking it, except for the size of the head. The head's a little too small, in my opinion, but it's getting better. You know, one thing with carving is that you're constantly at a point where you say, wow, this is as good as it can get. And then you do some more and you say, wow, this is good. And the trick is that you start to get this idea in your head. Well, if I keep carving, it gets better and better and better. And at some point, you need to stop. Yeah. So I'm definitely not at that point yet. So. All right, that's looking a lot better. I'm trying to bring in this haunch over forward so that it looks like his hip has moved forward from having this leg forward. I don't think it looks perfect, but you know, if you want perfect, then go to a store and buy something. If you want some art, then go to an art dealer. And if you want something that kind of looks like art but is not perfect, then I'm your guy. But so I want to go ahead and do the same thing up front here, continue carving out the belly area, and then the chest here on this side, and then we'll start on this side. Maybe we also need to deal with the fact that this horse has got some seriously wide legs. So I'm thinking on these legs, it sort of needs to come in a little bit like this. And then sort of like that. Okay. I'm at a point where I got to make a decision. In a way, I'm liking the way it looks right now, but it's not finished. Digging out yet another wormhole. I'm starting to wonder if there's any wood here at all with all the wormholes. Look at that. Goes deep. But anyways, I'm kind of liking the way it looks right now. That's one side. That's the other side. I got to refine the head still a little bit more. But in a way, it looks good. I mean, does it need to be perfect? It sure as hell does not need to be perfect. But part of me says, refine it some more, you know, smooth the edges more. But then the other part says, hey, listen, you know, this is a style in woodworking, so you know, it kind of looks good, in all honesty. This is a spring hook. I used to repair computers many years ago, and one of the jobs I had was those, you remember those postage meters? You used to get mail with the little red postage metered. Well, I used to repair those machines too. And this spring hook was used to reset the meter. Sometimes they got locked up, and we used to use a spring hook to reset them. I've had this for ages. And that looks a lot better. So I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the day and then look at it again in the morning. I have sanded the horse as much as I'm going to sand it. I want it to be just a little rough and show some imperfections. Considering that there's so many wormholes in here, I wanted it to look like it's been buried, like some sort of antique statue from Greek antiquity or something. And what I'm going to do is I made a pedestal off camera, and my idea is that, and I got to measure out nicely, I'm going to glue the back legs on to the pedestal, and of course the front legs are going to be hovering. And I'm concerned because this wood is very soft, so it's not going to take much to break it. So I'm going to I haven't decided where. I think I'm just going to put a drill a small hole and put a dowel into the pedestal from the chest, and there will be three pieces, and it'll still be pretty fragile because these legs are fragile as heck. And then once that's glued into place, I'm going to do some finish work. I have these bamboo skewers, right, and they're kind of nice to do. It's going to be pretty small, so I could cut it down to size and drill a hole for that. They're bamboo, so they're pretty strong, and then drill a small hole there for that. Alright, I've glued it onto the base, and I will let that glue dry overnight, and tomorrow we will start finishing. Alright, I'm ready to do some finish. I got some Danish oil here, and it's a medium walnut, and hopefully it won't make it too dark, but it's what I got today, so this is what I'm going to use. What I did was, it was soaking up the Danish oil pretty fast, so I didn't wait the 15 minutes and then wipe it off and then wait 15 more minutes and all that. What I did was I just kept on reapplying every 5 minutes, and I used like 2 cans of this stuff, so if there's any worms inside, they're pretty much eating Danish oil right now. So I put several coats of polyurethane as a final coat on here, and in all honesty, to tell you the truth, I really don't want to give this away, but I'm going to. I think this looks absolutely fantastic. Let me know in the comments if you like it. Good. Finally, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10, Good job.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. Good job, you blind squirrel, you.